Hey, what's up, man, Sohail?
Hi, Sanmitra. How are you? Congratulations.
अरे धन्यवाद धन्यवाद. I'm all good, man. How are
I
you?
know you must be busy, but I hope you saw the previous video. Then only today's session will make some sense to you.
Previous video as in मैं 80 तक पहुंच गया है. The previous practical I haven't seen.
This one I'm talking about the migration related.
हाँ, migration related videos I've been seeing. I pinged Amit also. देखते हैं वो join कर रहा है कि नहीं.
ठीक है, we'll wait for a minute or so. Let's see.
So is this the last practical of the session कि कैसे है?
Yes, today is the last session. Practical, theory, everything will be done today. I mean, theory we have
Okay,
already
so this
done.
is
There are three sessions on migration theory, two on theory, one on practical. Today is the last session of practical. We'll have few more sessions, but that is basically for resume preparation, Naukri profile creation, the questions, story building, uh, talking about your existing infrastructure, existing team. Those kind of questions we'll be discussing.
Okay, okay, all right.
Uh, Hussein said he'll be joining. Not sure about Srishti. Amit also didn't reply yet, right?
No, he didn't. You pinged on the group also, but I pinged
I
him
did.
individually.
Okay, so let's wait for at least one person so we can join or we can start.
Uh-huh.
And you said you're done till session 80. So do you
हाँ,
have
तो
any
मेरा
questions?
no
Anything
no
which
ऐसा तो
is
नहीं नहीं ऐसा तो कुछ नहीं. आई एक्चुअली अटेंडेड टिल 79, तो तब तक तो क्लियर है. 80 आई वाज जस्ट गोइंग थ्रू, मतलब आई वाज जस्ट रिवाइजिंग एंड देन गोइंग थ्रू 80 आल्सो. अभी वही देख रहा था मैं. तो एज सच तो ऐसा कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं है अभी तक, बट लेट्स सी. हाँ, आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू दिस. अपना वो द माइग्रेशन प्लेलिस्ट दैट्स देयर ऑन द वन नोट. ओके, so I've been seeing the videos on that, but is it the same? Because I found that a little confusing. I saw 1 2 videos and तो वो थोड़ा confusing लगा मेरे को.
sorry, which one are you talking about? Which videos?
Or you've shared one playlist there on the OneNote, right? Azure, this thing, migration playlist.
Playlist. Let me see.
हाँ
Where did you see? This is the OneNote you're talking about, right?
हाँ, this is the OneNote. तो इसमें वो links बोल के भी एक section है ना.
It's migration tab I am on.
हाँ. There is this one
This one?
OneNote that has links and scenarios.
Okay.
YouTube, yeah,
Experience and
वही
scenarios.
रहेगा.
No, experience and scenarios doesn't have any, this section doesn't have any link. Here it is. Migrate in wave rather than the complete workload. Is this the one you're talking about? Playlist?
Not this one. मैं एक काम करता हूँ, in a little while I share that link with you, and I'll also then I'll ask my questions also. मेरे को वो देखना पड़ेगा, तो मैं देख के
So what
I'll
was
share.
the question? क्या अलग क्या था?
Like as in maybe the sequence that we are going in and the sequence that he was going in, I found that a little different. तो मेरे को थोड़ा confusing लगा, तो then I thought might as well I continue with one part only. मतलब this thing, and then maybe later I can ask the more. मतलब वो फिर बाद में देख सकता हूँ मैं revision types में.
ठीक है, वैसे
But I
normally
just
होना
wanted
नहीं चाहिए because migration will always be in same sequence. Right? There has to be before we migrate, there has to be an assessment. It has to be there. You will rarely see when it comes to live project or live environment. You will never, even if it is for 10 servers, they will do the assessment. For practice, it is fine. We can do it without assessment. But when it comes to live migration, an assessment has to be there. So I'm not sure what exactly
not the
different.
sequence of migration. Not the sequence of the migration, but the sequence in which the videos are. So maybe like I'm not explaining it very clearly. give me a little time. मैं वो link भी भेजता हूँ and I'll tell you what questions I have on it.
ठीक है, no worries. चलो, we'll just wait for a minute and we'll start then. Let me
Okay.
ping
And
and check if.
this practical will be for the servers only, right?
Yeah, only for servers. So I can show it to you for database, but I think that's not really needed. And still, if you think नहीं यार मुझको एक बार देखना है, I'll cover that also, but not in today's session. Today's session specifically will be doing for servers.
Okay. So this database का migration do we usually अच्छा नहीं ठीक है चलेगा.
हाँ, database भी होता है.
हाँ.
But when it comes to database migration, you will surely have a team from database जिनको database की understanding होगी. So you don't have to understand everything from the database point of view. Even when it comes to server migration, right? Hussein says he'll require 10 minutes to join. Okay, right. So I was talking about server migration. Server migration भी जो होता है ना, इसके अंदर के applications वगैरह इन सब की understanding आपको नहीं रखनी पड़ती है. एप्लीकेशन टीम होता है आपके साथ कि इसके अंदर एप्लीकेशन कौन सी है, उसके लिए प्री रिक्विजिट क्या है, कैसे चलेगा. यू आर हियर टू सपोर्ट इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. यू विल बी डीलिंग विद इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर. व्हेन आई से इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर, व्हाट इज इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर? Infrastructure is your subscription, is your account, is your network, it is your storage accounts. Those are your infrastructure details. Okay. So okay, let me quickly start with this then, with migration from scratch. While Hussein joins, I'll just give you an overview, and then as soon as Hussein joins, we'll start the practical of migration. Okay.
Yes.
So I'll show it to you that what we have done till now. By the way, what is your understanding till now of migration?
Now, my understanding of the migration is like if an organization has this thing, they have everything on premises, and if they want to move to a virtual this thing on cloud, then that's when migration will come into picture. So we'll start moving. We'll first assess what the cost and things would be, what the requirement is, and what the cost will be, and then based on that, we'll help them migrate to cloud. That's my understanding.
Perfect. Overall, it's good. Now let's talk about it in detail. So when I say migration, it's not only from on-prem to cloud. Okay, if I am coming from Azure to Azure, maybe from some other subscription ABC to subscription XYZ, that is also a migration. When I am coming from AWS or GCP to Azure, that is also a migration. Okay. And when I'm coming from on-prem, be it physical machine or hardware machine or a virtual machine, that is also a migration. Clear?
Good. Yeah.
Okay. But when an interviewer is asking about migration, so it is implied that they're talking about on-prem servers, could be physical or virtual, on-prem servers to cloud, right? They will not ask you a question of a migration from Azure one subscription to another subscription. It is simply a matter of few clicks. Technically, it is migration. Okay, no one can deny that. Even Microsoft's definitions, they will call it migration. Even if you're moving your machine, even if you're moving your machine from one subscription to another subscription, that is a migration. That is technically a migration. Okay, but when an interviewer is asking you about something migration, so it is implied. Just if you want to pull his legs, so you can ask, okay, which migration are you talking about? Within Azure bhi to migration nahi hota. You can do that, but we are not doing that, right? On a serious interview, we are not there to pull someone's leg. So it is implied, even if he or she, if they do not specify, right? Even if they do not specify anything, it is implied that they are talking about a migration from on-prem server to cloud. And in this case, Azure, because you are showing yourself as an Azure administrator. Is it correct? Is it clear? Because no interviewer will tell you specifically or explicitly that, okay, can you tell me something about migration? What do you understand by migration? Migration of on-premises machine to Azure. No, they won't elaborate their question like this. Simply ask what is migration. Simply they'll do this. Okay. So migration means Moving from Azure to another subscription is also migration, but that is very simple, right? We can do that with few clicks. So whenever they are asking, it is implied that they're talking about on-prem server to Azure. So for that, it's a long process, you can say. We do the assessment first, and when I say assessment, there are two types of assessment. One is a technical assessment, which we saw in our last session. You can watch the recording. And before that also, there is an assessment. Now, what kind of assessment is that? Which one? Uh, that assessment is where they discuss about the factors and possibilities and how to plan the planning and everything. That kind of assessment, which cloud to be taken, whether we should go with cloud or not. उस तरह की जो सारी details है वो भी एक assessment होता है. Okay, that is most of the time that is done by this your cloud team, your architecture team. They do it. Once they're okay with it, then you will start with your technical assessment. Okay, so in interview, technical से ज्यादा जो है ना आपका इस assessment पे ही you will answer और उसी पे ज्यादा बात करोगे आप. The page which I'm scrolling, I'm just showing it to you. Okay, इतना सब आप लोगों को ये करना है. These are the options we have when it comes to migration. Okay, और जो core answer आप लोगों को पढ़ना है in the interview, you won't have to literally read it, but you can keep this in front of you and you can start. Okay, so when it comes to assessment, from here you can start, or overall migration, they won't even ask you that describe assessments separately, but you will. The moment they say what is migration, you will have to explain, okay, yes, I have worked on migration projects. When I explain migration is something moving some machines from one place to another. In this case, I'm talking about moving some virtual machines. Be stick to virtual machines. Okay, even if they talk about physical machines, you can say yes, the process is same. So you can say migration is all about moving machines from on premises, or safer side, say on premises. It concludes both VM and physical. So moving machines from on-prem to cloud, in this case Azure. Before we move the machine, there's pre-migration tasks are there. Pre-migration task itself takes month. Now you can start picking up words from here. Okay, we do a review for cost, services, provider, etc. Why provider? Maybe I'm looking for some specific service in a specific region. Azure doesn't provide that. AWS does that. Somewhere AWS doesn't, GCP does. GCP doesn't, Azure does. That is the reason we are not only at this stage, they are not decided, they have not decided that it is going to Azure only. Okay, at this stage, though you don't do it. Who does that? It is done by Cloud Center of Excellence team. You will have cloud architects here, you will have chief financial officers, chief technology officers, because they will have to think about everything, right? Cost. When we talk about cost, तो cost का decision कौन ले सकता है? No matter how good you are at a technical part, can you take the financial decisions for your company?
No.
Right, so there has to be someone from the some key people from finance team, provider, services, ये सब decision लेने के लिए almost एक top management and then cloud architects, इनका meeting होता है, ये सब यहाँ पर discuss होते हैं. Now I'll read this thoroughly again one more time, though we have done it in previous sessions, Sanmitra. You can watch the recording, but I will still share it with you, or I'll repeat it, I'll explain it to you, so it will be a good learning for you and revision for Amit. But we'll do it while our machines are synchronizing. So let me start the practical. We'll come to that stage where machines are synchronizing, and synchronization takes time. So we'll have 5 to 10 more minutes. We'll come back to this. Fine?
Okay.
Okay. Amit, any questions do you have?
No, as of now.
Okay. So let's start with this. I talked about assessment, right? I told you, Amit, the assessment can be done using Azure assessment tool or third-party tools, right? We saw reports also of a third-party tool named Corent. You don't have to mention that. You can stick to Azure migration assessment tool, migration and assessment tool. Okay, under assessment tool, you can download an appliance from here. You can upload the appliance, you can install the appliance on your on-premises server. It will start fetching all servers. It will give you a report like this. But this, we did discuss this report in detail, Sanmitra. You can watch that video, or again I'll come back to this session also. I want to start the migration quickly because synchronization takes time, तो वो time हमारा waste ना हो, इसलिए I want to start it right away and I'll come back to this. And even if we don't get time to this, Sanmitra, we have covered this already in last session. You'll have to just watch the
Yes,
recording. So Amit, I hope this part
okay.
is clear to you, right? The one which we covered in last session.
Yes.
Okay, now let's quickly start with migration. Similarly, like in assessment, we have multiple tools. For migration also, we have multiple tools. One is Azure migration tool. It is their basic tool. It is their default tool. It is recommended by Microsoft and it is free by Microsoft. So we always deal with that, at least in the interview. Companies, they do deal with other tools also. Current, I showed you this tool, a bit of it, right? There are multiple tools, but in your interview you will stick to Azure migrate tool. You can say that no, I was wherever I have worked my 2 or 3 or 4 projects, we always used, our client always used Azure migration tool. So how to deal with it? Okay, first thing, you will have to create a project, a migration project. How to create that? This we have already done. So Samitra, watch previous session, otherwise I'll cover it if we get time when machines are synchronizing. Okay, so I've already created a project. I told you there could be multiple projects at a time. Okay, and it's not could be, you'll definitely see multiple projects, because you're not the only team who's working here, right? There are multiple teams, बहुत सारे subscription होते हैं, बहुत सारे उसमें migration चलते रहते हैं. So you'll see multiple projects here. Make sure you select your project. Assessment report यहाँ पर होगी. Plus, Amit, can I do the migration without assessment? I'm not talking about whether it's recommended, not technically correct. Technically, can I perform a migration without assessment? That is my question.
Yeah, technically possible if we know how many servers are there, what is the configuration.
Now, technically possible even if you don't know anything, then also. See, if you know how many servers, what is the configuration, you have already done the assessment with tool or without tool, right? That is what the assessment is. Without any assessment at all. So let's start it. This assessment, this is of something else. Okay, I'm not considering this assessment. Understand one thing, guys? This assessment is for some different servers, and this migration I'm doing for different server. Clear hai? So don't collaborate them. Is it clear, Amit? अभी ये जो assessment यहाँ पर पड़ा हुआ है ना, ये अलग 32 सर्वर्स के लिए. आई एम नॉट माइग्रेटिंग एनी ऑफ दीज सर्वर्स. माइग्रेशन मैं किसी और सर्वर का कर रहा हूँ.
Okay.
क्लियर?
ठीक.
समेता, इज इट क्लियर? एनी कंफ्यूजन?
No, it's clear.
अमित, कोई कंफ्यूजन है तो बताओ. माइग्रेशन बहुत ज्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट टॉपिक है, डेफिनेटली पूछा जाएगा. इट इज अ मस्ट आस्क इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन, राइट? सो ये असेसमेंट मैंने किसी और सर्वर का, किसी और बंच का कर रखा है. इसको कब माइग्रेट करना है, I'll decide that later. And now I have suddenly got a new project of migration of 3 servers which is on urgent basis. तो मैं यहाँ से उसको माइग्रेट कर रहा हूँ. दो लाइव एनवायरनमेंट में जब भी होगा ना इस तरह से, तब भी आप इस प्रोजेक्ट में कभी माइग्रेट नहीं करोगे. ओके, इफ यू हैव क्रिएटेड अ प्रोजेक्ट लाइक दिस, प्रोजेक्ट XYZ, and you have done the assessment, okay, and you are still dealing with assessment, and your manager says no, we have another project and we have to migrate 3 machines without any assessment. That does not mean you will do that under the same project. What you will do, you will create another project here. So I'll create a new project, new Workday app migration project, something like this. Is it clear? कि नए इसमें भी अगर आता है, आप किसी असेसमेंट को बीच में छोड़ के न्यू माइग्रेशन भी शुरू कर रहे हो, so this is how you will do it. Clear, Amit, Sarmitra? उसी में आप
Yes.
उसको मिक्स नहीं करोगे. Okay, so this one we have already discussed. Amit, Samitra, just for your knowledge, quickly I will explain it. Other than this, you will have the video in the training. So how do you want to connect it? Most of the time it is private connectivity. When I say private connectivity, it is either VPN, and no one will do the migration on VPN connectivity. It is express route most of the time. But in our case, and you can disable the public network completely, that while migrating मुझको internet का कोई चाहिए ही नहीं. So I'm disconnecting disabling the public network at all completely. Then before this क्या करना पड़ेगा हम लोगों को? We'll have to set up a network between my Azure subscription, between my Azure tenant and my on-prem express route का network setup करना पड़ेगा. But in training we do not do that. We'll go ahead with public network. Okay, so I'm creating this one, new Workday app. This is our project. Okay.
Just a question here, Sway. In this thing, which scenario will we not need this public IP, the connectivity method?
In fact, in all scenarios, not
Acha.
a single company will like to do their migration on an internet. Do you even realize when we say that your machines will be migrated on internet? I mean, everyone will have access to that data till the time this is being migrated. If I'm copying 80 TB of data from my data center to Azure over the internet, मतलब वो पूरा 80 TB जो है इंटरनेट पे अवेलेबल है उस टाइम के लिए जब तक वो कॉपी हो रहा है. Any good hacker,
Acha, got it.
it's a cakewalk for him. So we'll never ever do that over the internet unless training sessions
Got it.
like we are doing
Yeah.
it. Now, if you see under projects, I have two projects. One is Workday application migration, which is under Kumail's resource group. There I have done an assessment, but I am keeping this on hold. I'm saying the 32 servers I have assessed, I'll do the migration later. As of now, I have got an urgent work. I'll just refresh it so you can see the new project. By the way, this shows Kumail's resource group, okay? And the new resource group I selected. Let me go to that resource group. While that is being refreshed, I'll quickly show this thing to you. Kumail. Why can't I see that the project which I have created? Why do you think I'm unable to see it? Any idea? Or do you think while creating a project, zero resources have been deployed?
Actually, there were no resources deployed.
Okay, so if I click on show hidden types, here it is. Workday application migration, these all are related to migration. These all are related to migration, but those are hidden. That is the reason you're unable to see them. Clear? In case an interview question comes, ऐसा कोई वैसे मैंने आज तक नहीं देखा है सवाल, but just because we had time, so I thought I'll let you know, guys. You can search it from here as your migrate server migration I'm talking about. So the which project are we working on? New Workday app. Okay, here we do not have any assessment report. We are fine with it. We'll start with the migration. Click on discovery. Okay, I clicked on discovery. Where my servers are coming from. So from on-premises, I have physical servers, so I'll select this. On-premises, I have vSphere servers, I'll select this. But in my case, I have on-premises server on that Hyper-V. On my laptop, I have Hyper-V. On Hyper-V, I have 3 machines. So I will select this one. Is it clear? Yes, guys, is it clear why I selected this and in what cases I'll select what? Guys, can you hear me?
Yes, it's
Yes.
clear.
Yes.
Sorry.
Yes.
Right, so target region. तो ऐसे तो नहीं होगा कि मेरा डेटा सेंटर जो है इंडिया में है एंड देन आई टेक द टारगेट रीजन ऑस्ट्रेलिया, बहुत ज्यादा इसमें बैंडविड्थ ही हो जाएगी. Though my physical servers are here in India, I'm taking it as East US because I'm connected to VPN East US. So I'm taking East US. Okay. Confirm that target region East US. Create resources. Meanwhile, let me show you my Hyper-V, which is there on my laptop. Okay. So I'm opening my Hyper-V so you will know what exactly do I have here. and I'll show you the applications also. So this is the server, guys. Okay. I have one Windows machine, name is Workday. I have one Linux machine named Linux. I have one Linux machine named Linux Ubuntu. These three machines I have. I am planning to migrate these three machines. Though I'll show you the migration of, okay, I will migrate all three machines. Depends on the time. Okay. How will we check if the migration was successful or not? So how will we check that? We'll try to run the application which is running on that server. इसके लिए application team आपके साथ होता है पूरे throughout the session. Application team आपके साथ होता है. The moment you send them an email that okay, test migration has been done, can you please check if it is working? They will check, okay, my application is running perfectly, and then you will do the migration. So to check whether my application is working or not, as of now I'll show it to you what is there on my server, the one which I have on my laptop. So this is the application I have. Okay, Workday server I have. So now I want to, now if you try this 192.168.0.15, can you guys access this? I mean, I'm not asking you to access, this is my question. Can you access this from your Internet Explorer? Hussein, Samitra, don't try to access it. Let me know. Can you access this? I'm not saying are you able to. My question is, can you access this?
No, it's an internal website.
How do you know that?
Why IP?
Exactly. Which IP is it? Private, public?
Private
Which class?
class B.
Perfect. Yes, guys. It is hosted on my internal network, so you guys can't access it, right? I'm planning to take this public. Hence, I want to move my server to Azure. Fine. So this is my application. This is the method we have decided. This is how we will test the application once it is moved. Clear? So we in my machine, I have Linux, Ubuntu, Workday. These three machines I am planning to move. Okay. So now let's proceed. Let's go back to our portal. Okay, this is done. I've selected my Hyper-V and everything. Now what does it say? That prepare for replication by downloading and installing the replication provider software on Hyper-V host. Follow the steps, follow the below steps to configure the Hyper-V host. First thing, it is asking us to download the Hyper-V replication provider. Okay, so we'll have to download this. I'm downloading it. By the way, let me first download this. Download it. So when it says that download the software on your Hyper-V host, what do you mean by this? Which is my Hyper-V host?
Any VM which is there on Hyper-V.
No, those are my guest
I guess
machines.
The main server on which Hyper-V is hosted.
Yes, in this case, it's my laptop. Normally in data center, your Hyper-V will be installed on a server. और उस Hyper-V पे आपके multiple machines होंगे. I hope it's not confusing you, right?
correct.
See, now this is on my laptop. On that, I have multiple machines. नॉर्मली डेटा सेंटर पे एक सर्वर होगा, सर्वर पे Hyper-V होगा, और उस Hyper-V पे फिर मल्टीपल मशीन्स होंगे. So when I say host server, it is the server where my Hyper-V is installed. That server I'm talking about, not one of these machines, right? Not one of these machines. जहां पर ये install है पूरा Hyper-V, जहां पर install है, that machine we are talking about. So which machine it is? It is this machine. See, this is my Workday on-prem data center virtual machine. So this is again my virtual machine. This is my guest virtual machine, which I'm planning to migrate. So not here, not on Linux machines. I want to install this on the host where my Hyper-V is installed. So this is the machine where my Hyper-V is installed. Okay. So I will either copy it from there. Now in this case, how will it happen, guys? You will copy, you will download this file. You will download this file, and what else will you download? the registration key, because the moment you download that software, उस software को कैसे पता होगा कि आपका Azure account कौन सा है, आपका Azure subscription कौन सा है, what is the login ID, what is not. So that every information is saved here in this key. So this is the key. So what will you do? You will download this hyper-v.exe file. This is Azure Site Recovery Provider. You will download this. You will download the key. Once these two are downloaded, once these two are downloaded and you have it, you will save it somewhere in network location. This one and this one. You will save it somewhere on your network location, and you will ask your system admin. You will ask those guys, your system admin guys, to install this on your host machine. Not everything will be done by you. I hope you understand. Any confusion in this? यहाँ तक download करके देना आपका काम है, because it is Azure portal, right? It is not a public download. Understand one thing, guys. This is not something that you will do a Google search and you will get it and everyone will have the same. No, this is specifically created for your subscription. इस subscription के लिए बनाया गया है. When I download this key, it has my user ID and password and many things. So this is not publicly available. You cannot simply ask the admin team, boss, go ahead and download that and create it for yourself. No, you can't do that. You will have to download this. You will have to download this, the key. You will have to paste that somewhere on the network share. Okay. Once it is available, then maybe you can send an email or something that these two files are here. Can one of you please go ahead and install it on your host virtual machine? Clear?
Yes.
Okay. So in my case, I did not have the network drive or something. So I'm simply doing a copy paste, a manual copy paste I'm doing. And another trick I have here, I can log into this machine directly. I can log into my portal, Azure portal. I hope you guys are not getting confused, right? I'm toggling between 2-3 machines. So don't get confused. If you have any question कि कौन सा वाला steps किस पे हो रहा है, any a little bit of confusion, stop me and ask me. I will explain it to you again. Just because I'm toggling with many machines, it should not happen कि आप लोग confuse हो गए, और that should not be the case. So is it clear till now, guys? Hussein, Amit, any
Yes.
question do you have?
No, it's clear.
So where do we install this Azure Site Recovery.exe and the key? Where do we install this? On which machine?
On host Hyper-V machine.
Right. Hyper-V is host machine because it is Hyper-V. In case of vCenter, we will install it in vCenter host machine. Clear है? Or in case of physical, you will install it in that data center anywhere. उस data center में कहीं पर भी इस एक machine को आप बना दो, which has network connectivity with other server. Obviously, that is the prerequisite. Network connectivity नहीं है तो उसको install करके कोई फायदा ही नहीं होगा, right? If you do not have network connectivity, then that's of no use. So it still shows that 2 minutes are left. Let me see if I can download it directly. Yeah, fast approach. Okay, so forget what we did here.
Sohail, I have got a small question.
Yes.
Is there any possibility that we can ask the application guy to take a remote access of the Hyper-V host machine and then open the Azure portal and download?
Yeah, you can do that. It's a good thinking. But why would you do that? I mean, in your live environment, it will never happen कि आप लोगों के पास FTP ports नहीं है या फिर कोई tunnel नहीं बना रखा है या कोई share network नहीं है. It is highly impossible situation. You'll never see a situation like this. कि किसी इतने बड़े infrastructure में कोई network drive नहीं है. That is up to them, purely up to them. But most of the time servers पे internet access नहीं होता है, and they won't allow you. But yeah, it's technically it is possible. Rest, it could be a business decision. Technically, it is possible. We are doing that in front of you. Similarly, we're doing that. So technically, it is possible. No issues with that.
Okay.
Okay. So forget what we did here. Simply think that this file has been copied, okay, from network drive. Network drive से कहीं पर आपके Azure admin ने ये आपको copy करके दे दिया. Clear? Yes, guys. Is it clear till here?
Yes.
Okay. So I'll start the installation. I've double clicked on that exe file. This is how it looks. It is asking for updates. You'll always do the updates to get everything updated. But in training, we'll skip this. Live session, you will always do the upgrade. Click next. That is fine. You can leave it. Click install. It is being installed now. Waiting for this to install, guys, and then I'll show it to you. Okay, now we have to register. The installation has been done. You have to register. What does it say? Configuration has been done. Installation has been done. The server is already registered in the vault. Click here to register again. Okay, so you have to register it. Click here on register. And for registration, you will have to use the other file which we copied, or in this case, we downloaded, but which we copied this file. Okay, this is the file. It has all our information of migration project, subscription, and everything. Okay, so this is taking some time, guys. It is not responding. We have less than a minute left. So once the session is disconnected, I will connect once this is up. इसको अगर ज़्यादा time लगता है, I do not want to waste recording time. तो ये जैसे ही up होता है, the moment I select this, I will start the session and ping you. Might take 5 to 7 minutes. ठीक है, it is not responding. तो ये जैसे ही working condition में आता है, I will start the session. Meanwhile, उसको अगर मुझको break करके फिर से करना पड़े ये process, so I'll do that. Is it clear till here?
Yes.
Okay, we'll stop the session. I'll ping you as soon as I restart the session.
Okay.